Greetings to you all. You are wonderfully, joyfully employed there on the earth plane, sitting together in that space, in that place of co creation and loving kindness. We see that all of you spread apart on the earth in those global positions that are so vast and so wide are really, actually, truly connected side by side by side. And we are saying that to you because in this new reality that you are all participating in, where you are connected so digitally and so thoroughly, it is time to begin. It is time to begin noticing that you are all interconnected and you are all drawn so close together, hearts and minds and spirits. You don't have to physically be together to be together. And we are so glad that you have all chosen to take this time here and now to pause in a co-creation, in a group formation, and in a space and in a place that is just right for you, for your spirit to shine, to pause, to slow down, to take notice, to take stock. And we invite you now to listen very carefully to our words, because as you know, if you've been listening to our words for a while, you will remember that we are charged with supporting humanity there on the earth plane. And we are tasked with helping you move forward on your evolutionary continuums. You all are growing into harmony with your own divine soul selves all the time. Your lives are complicated in the most beautiful ways. You have very dense, very thick energy that you rest in there on that earth plane. We call it pea soup. And sometimes there are pulls and pushes and navigational stressors for you. And we always like to remind you that all of it is just an illusion, because you're always moving forward. You're always rising higher. You're always vibrationally moving into a space of light and harmony and peacefulness. Sometimes you might feel like you fall off the bandwagon. You might get angry or disgruntled or upset or discouraged or ill. And that's okay. Everybody has yin and yang moments. You can't have the light without the dark. You need the sun and the moon to complement each other so that you notice when it is bright and when it is not. So we are always here to champion you and to buoy you and to move you forward with our encouraging words. Very frequently, as we talk to you, we also move through your energetic harmonic spaces with a frequency of healing vibration. Think of us like the computer technologists who are working on your motherboards. What are your motherboards? Your vibrational frequencies. So while you actually are listening to our words, you are receiving healing. While you are listening to our words, your vibrational frequency of your aura is reharmonizing. It is realigning. It is navigating forward. It is stretching out, stretching longer, moving into position of ultimate harmony with itself. That's why we come to you so frequently. And we are thrilled to come in this new way through Laura's voice box in this such public format. And we are so joyful that you are all here with us today. We want to talk to you today about the energy of alignment that is of change recently. We understand that many of you have been paused with your normal routines during this year-long stay-at-home time, as Laura likes to call it. And now we want to specifically talk to you about this particular energy of the last few weeks moving into the next several months. For you see, it is like a rubber band. The energy has pulled and expanded as your societies begin to open and you begin to move and travel and enter into your societies at large more. And yet, there is also an energetic frequency of contraction that is happening at the same time. For those of you who are energetically sensitive, perhaps you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, or you intuit the big, grand, sweeping arcs of emotion running through your societies where you live. You might notice that there is this expansion and this constriction happening at the same time. Now, for others of you, this might be a brand new concept that is being shown to you today for the first time. And we invite you to notice if you have any stuck points in the last several weeks, or any disgruntledness in the last few days, or any discomfort psychologically or emotionally or mentally in the last few bits of your time. All of that is related to this juxtaposition of the extraction and the compression. It is very rare in your energetic stations of harmonic frequency that you reside in a space where you are both expanding and contracting at the same time. For most often, you are always expanding. Most often, you are always growing larger in the most gloriously divine sense of that word. So right now you are in a discordant dance. It is harmonious and disharmonious at the same time. We want to remind you that you are just right exactly where you need to be. And as you practice walking around on that earth plane in your human bodies that are shells of a physical representation, your spiritual selves are always at ease. Your spiritual selves are the parts of you that were here before your incarnations, and they will be the parts of you that are here still after your physical selves expire. Those spiritual selves, those parts of you that some of you call soul essence, sometimes get flooded with that 3D realm reality of dense, thick energy, and it can feel overwhelming. And some of you might be noticing that overwhelm now. It's okay. You will get through, and it will become clean, and the residue will ride away, and you will feel refreshed and renewed. There are many types of activities that you can do during this time while you are balancing and riding this wave of the juxtaposition of the expansion and the contraction. You are all beautifully tuned in to your centeredness in different ways. You have breathing techniques. You have meditative techniques. You have prayerful techniques. You have contemplative techniques. You have yogic techniques. And we chuckle here because we are speaking to the crowd that knows, because this is a particular technology platform that is used in these ways to cultivate your mindfulness and cultivate your centeredness and cultivate your balancedness. And we are aware that you know that this is important. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. We are so proud of you as humans on that earth plane, for you are just doing beautifully. You are navigating the ups and downs and the ins and outs of your beautiful, wonderful, complicated, tricky navigation of life. And you're doing it with greatness. It might not feel that way right now for some of you. It might feel like you have strife. Some of you might be depleted or tired, or your reserves might feel like they're running on empty, or you may be feeling sad or like you are grieving. It is okay. Acknowledge that for yourselves. For once you start to acknowledge where you reside and how you feel, you can begin to shift that frequency into a more aligned, vibrational, harmonic station. And when you do that, you begin to change the frequency from the dial being turned down and muted to 0. And slowly navigating that dial, moving it towards 5, which is balanced, or 10, which is exuberantly off the charts. We don't expect all of you to be residing at a level 10, exuberantly off the charts. In fact, very few humans can actually do so. Very few humans have the energetic capacity and the energetic grand station to hold that much frequency. But we say that to you as an example of where you can begin to think about moving on that dial, shifting along that continuum of the energetic frequencies. And now it is time for you to take a deep breath into the center of your being. As you do so, we will begin to work with our energetic frequency harmonic station vibration. That's a mouthful if we do say so ourselves. Exhale out into the ether around you and completely let go. Release deeply. Breathe into the center of your beingness again, one more time. Deep and nourishing and full through your lungs and your respiratory systems and into your belly cavities where you fill yourselves with air. Hold it inside. Hold it, and now release it. Exhale it out, push it out, contract the stomach, pull that vibrational frequency out, and let it emanate all through you. Let us do this exercise one final third time together. Take a very deep and nourishing breath into the center of your belly. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and now release completely, letting it go, dropping the shoulders, releasing the tension from the chest and the stomach. Thank you for doing this. We would like to point out to you that in doing this nourishing deep breath work, you are doing more than just breathing. You are co-creating a new script for your energetic station and your energetic frequency. You are shifting yourselves into a higher state of vibration and alignment when you breathe this consciously and this deeply. It can happen in times such as this with us here as the Council of Light speaking to you about it. It can happen when you are at work and you take a pause and you take a nourishing breath. It can happen in the evening when you are laying in your bed and you are getting ready to repose for the night and your body is drifting slowly into that relaxed, deep state. It can also happen in other forms of meditative or movement or centering or yogic practice when you are encouraging your body to rhythmically move breath in and out and in and out and in and out again. But it's important for you to know, you all understand that it's great to take deep breaths, but from a subtle harmonic vibrational frequency station, what you're actually doing is refining the frequency. Think about it like the energy on a static radio dial, and you need to turn the knob to tune in the frequency of the radio more clearly so that it comes in without the static around it. Well, it is the same when you do that with your nourishing breath. When you take a deep breath into your beingness with conscious pause or with conscious precision, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. You could be in the middle of a heated argument with a loved one. You could be in the middle of a very boring meeting with a boss. You could be in the middle of some very intense studies with a teacher. You could be standing in line at the grocery store waiting to pay for your food. It doesn't matter where you are and it doesn't matter what you're doing. But when you do the deep conscious pause of breath work or the deep conscious repetitive breath work, you begin to bring that energy up through all the energy stations of the body, and you begin to exhale it through you, around you, and all into you so that you are swirling and moving and manipulating and growing and expanding the harmony, the balance, the lightness, the frequency of upliftedness in your physical shell that houses your spiritual representations. So not only is it physically nourishing, but it's also on a deep energy level of great sensitivity, helping you to raise your vibrational frequencies. Many of you have often wondered, how do I stay in that centered and balanced place? How do I stay in that space of Zen? How do I stay in that space of positivity? How do I stay in that space of peacefulness? Well, we're here to tell you that 99.9% of you humans on the earth plane can't stay there forever. It's just not part of your avatar in this lifetime. If you were to practice and become the most sage, yogic wisdom master keeper, hiding in a cave in the Himalayas, doing nothing but breath work, and receiving the flow of prana 24/7, with Zen emptiness and zero distraction in that mental capacity, then you could become optimally engaged 100% of the time with that optimal frequency. But your realities are you live lives full of twists and turns and ups and downs and navigations and pivots and responsibilities and relationships to other humans. And so you have emotional responses to the things that happen in your daily lives because of the things that happen routine-wise, such as your global stay-at-home time that you've all experienced together, and your relationship connections with others. The people around you do things. The people around you say things, and your emotional being responds. Sometimes it reacts, and it's okay. So the important thing for you all to notice here is if you are ever in your flow in your lives where you are in that ultimate space of harmony, and you are in that ultimate space of peacefulness, and you are in that ultimate space of vibratorily frequencied pureness, shall we even call it, and you fall out of it, it's actually a good thing. Not that you have fallen out and you stay out, but that you can get back in so that you can take time to cultivate vibrational alignment, so that you can take time to pause and reset your thinking patterns and nourish your body with movement and breath work so that you can sink into that space of alignment once again, and you can arrive back over and over and over into the alignment and into the alignment again and into the alignment again and again and again. It is a beautiful dance and it is a beautiful practice. And if you can learn to embrace that as process of repetition, coming into harmony, coming into vibrancy, coming into support, coming into alignment, coming into frequency, then you will live ultimately, most often, vibrant, aligned, and frequency harmonized lives. Will you not? It is so simple, and yet it is so profound. Pausing and consciously cultivating the energy that you wish to be in the moment that you notice you are not in it or of it. Let us do another exercise with you now. Let us have you think about a frequency of kindness or love or positivity or healthfulness or happiness. Think of a frequency that you would like to label in that positive moniker and enjoy that, revel in it, feel it. Notice as that frequency begins to fill your body cavity and align you and become the frequency that emanates through you right now in this moment as you're thinking of it. And there you are. You have become it. Do you see how simple this is? Your ego, lovely, lovely, lovely self that needs to help you on that earth plane so that you can navigate waking up and brushing teeth and eating food and looking both ways when you cross the street, etc., loves to overanalyze. And it loves to get in the way. And it loves to make things more complicated than they need to be. You don't need to do 27 days of dressing all in one color and eating only one food and breathing out of the left nostril and holding the pinky toe up in the air before you achieve that space of optimal development. Sure, those things are all wonderful routines for you to practice as humans, and you should continue to do any and all of them if they bring you joy. But we want to remind you that it is as simple as thinking about the positive frequency that you wish to be and breathing into yourself and being that frequency simply because you are pausing and you are thinking it, and then you are becoming it. Then you are becoming it. And so, friends, dear sweet humans on that earth plane, we say to you now that if you would like to live in a joyful world, be joyful. If you would like to live in an equitable world, be equitable. If you would like to live in a fair and just world, be fair and just. With yourselves first, always, and then with your loved ones and your colleagues and your co-workers and your friends and your extended families, and it ripples out and so on and so on and so on. If you want to live in a world that is full of loving kindness and compassion and peacefulness, you must be loving, kind, and compassionate and peaceful. Do that by being present in that cultivation of that energy frequency. And sure, there are all kinds of routines and scripts and pathways and prayer practice and centerings and musical interludes and yogic movements, as we've been referencing, that you can do to help you get there. There is not one right or one wrong way. There is not one right or one wrong practice. It's all good. You humans on that earth plane are the most wonderfully diverse and creative group of souls that we have seen anywhere. And you have so much variety, and you have so much spontaneity, and you have so much creative joy. Tap in all the time. Tune into that flow and that frequency, and you become the flow and the frequency. And the vibrational light on that earth plane grows bright. And the frequency and the harmony of that earth, that globe spinning around in your atmosphere of your universe, vibrates to a more uplifted, aligned frequency that is easier to navigate. And you don't find the trials and the tribulations as hard as they once were. You will always still have trials and tribulations in your lives. You will always still experience sadness or pain or suffering or sorrow. That will never go away because you are there having a human experience. We've talked before about why you choose to have human experiences, and we will talk again about that again in the future. And we've also talked at length in many of our past talks to you about why you have those ups and downs, and we will do so again in the future. But for right now, our grand point today, as we speak to you here and now in this way, is to remind you that you are glorious. You are wonderful. You are the most embodied form of exalted, pure energy that you could ever expect to be when you are fully present in your body and in your mind and in your heart. And you are breathing, and you are aligning, and you are focusing, and you are harmonizing. We are so thrilled to be able to be here with you in this capacity. And it brings us the greatest of joys to speak to you in this way. And we thank you all for joining us here in this format now, today. We would like to pause our work with you for now, and we will come to you again in your next calendar time called the month. And we will speak to you about a new topic that we will joyfully employ and share with you through the voice box of this woman called Laura here on the earth plane. And so for now, we say thank you, and we wrap you in a golden blanket of light to nourish you and to sustain you and to keep you and to hold you ever so tight until we are to speak to you again. Namaste, adieu, and goodbye for now.